I'm feeling high.
Hey friends, so I am Zaire Moss. I am a friend of Celeste Pearson. And she's getting some questions and we're gonna get right. The first set of questions are ministry questions. The first question is, what is the easiest / hardest part of being married to an elder of the church? Well, the easiest part, of being married to an elder is that we both live according to the word of God, what the word says. And when you have a husband that is accountable to godly living, it's so easy because you don't have to worry about him going out in the world doing things he's not supposed to, as men would in the world do. I'm grateful that my husband doesn't do that. The hardest part of being married to an elder, I guess, is like, sometimes, when you're a part of ministry, you just got to be on the go. So, you could be doing something and then a phone call comes in. You got to stop all of what you're doing because you got to focus on, what you have to do in ministry. So I guess that can be, for me, the hardest part because, I don't really do a lot in the church. I sing on a praise and worship team, but that's about it. So, I guess that's the hardest part for me. Question number 2, have you ever had moments where you wanted to give up on the relationship because of the calling on your spouse's life? So for me, when we were dating, I can say when we were dating, it was one of those things where it was like, I don't know if I could do this for the rest of my life because I didn't really, like I said, I was in ministry, but I didn't do a lot. So when you're not that type of person, when you don't do a lot, when you kind of just like a member, it's like you kind of want to be like, okay, I'm here to do whatever and I want to go home. But when you're involved in ministry like that, it's like ministry becomes your life. And when you're called to ministry, like you got to do what you got to do. Like if you called, you got to stop what you're doing, like I said before, and you just got to go ahead and, do what you were called to do. So I know that was hard for me when we were first dating, and I was just like, might have to back up. What I wrote was when you're dating, just like any relationship with each other as people, it is also important to take time out for God because it's important. Like, really. I mean, there's nothing else to really say, but you have to make sure you put aside time to read your word. Like, there's no way that we will be able to find out things about each other if we didn't take time out to learn about one another. So you got to take out time for God to pray, to read your word, to study, to fast. Like, all these things are so important to have a constant and healthy relationship with God. So, like, when you're dating, it's not like when you're dating somebody in ministry, it's not like you're dating a regular member, because regular members, they come, they hear the word, they participate in praise and worship, in singing, they get their praise on or whatever, and they go home. But when you're in ministry, you got to stay back. You got to make sure that you clean up. You got to do all of this stuff. And I really wasn't for doing all of that, to be honest. But when you're dating somebody in ministry, it's something where you have to honestly prepare yourself, because if you don't prepare yourself, you're gonna want to give up. You're not gonna want to be with that person. And being with somebody in ministry isn't for everybody. I'll say that. Being with somebody in ministry is not for everybody. It's not for the weak. You got to be prepared. So, like, I don't know what it's like when you up there with somebody that's a pastor, but it's not for the weak. You gotta be prepared. So if you're not prepared, I advise you to go ahead and go back on your single route. Because, honey, my Lord. The third question is, how do you both take out time to make sure your relationship is healthy and balanced alongside your relationship with God is also healthy and consistent? So I believe we do our best in making sure that after a long day, like, we make sure we watch a show together, or we watch a movie, or we go on a walk. We take the baby on a walk with us. And we just enjoy. We have a good time. Even if we don't want to eat at home, we found out, like, maybe we want to go to Longhorn today, but we just make sure, like, we don't forget that, you know, it is important to have a healthy and balanced relationship as husband and wife. Even like doing a puzzle, like we got puzzles at home, like sometimes we just even do a puzzle so we can just enjoy each other, enjoy each other's space and time. And even, you know, if we were to go lay down for the night, we sit there and we just talk about each other's day and just little stuff like that, which is really important to hear about your spouse. Make sure that they're good, make sure they're okay, make sure that there's nothing on their heart or bothering them in their mind, and that we don't allow each other to go to sleep like that, but we make sure we just talk it out, talk each other's day out, and make sure we're both good. And as far as your relationship with God, I believe that is also very important. Question number 4. What are the main challenges that you face as a wife in ministry? What do you believe your role is in ministry as far as what God called you to do? I guess challenges in ministry that I face sometimes is like, you know, one thing I know is that a man always knows how to defend himself, even when he doesn't even say a lot. And so many times it could be something where somebody may not agree with something that your spouse does in ministry, whether you are a regular member, whether you are a leader, whether you are a pastor and first lady. I believe it's always things that our spouse may do that people do not agree with. And in them not agreeing, you may get to the point where I feel like it's so important to bridle your tongue. And you may get to the point where something is said like, I don't even understand why they did that, or people just disagree with what they do. But you have to remember that not to try to defend, because in a way of defending and your spouse, you may end up offending somebody. And I just feel like it's very important just to, when you see things, pray about it, because you never want to say something that may turn somebody away, that may anger somebody. So even in their anger with what your spouse did that made them confused, made them not understand why they did that, and they say something out of time, out of turn, you never want to come to the point where you try to defend your spouse. And I don't like when anybody tries to say anything about Malik, because honey, I'm gonna say something. But I feel like it's very important to learn to bridle your tongue. The Bible talks about bridling our tongue. You know, you're not supposed to say everything. Everything you see doesn't need a reaction. You just see it, you peep it, and you pray about it. And remember that God will always handle it. He handles everything. So what you see and what you peep, you pray. Do you want to be addressed as First Lady when that time comes? No, I don't. Call me Sister Zai, Sister Moss, but I don't. No, thank you. Okay, so the next set of questions are the mom questions. Number 1 says, how do you enjoy being a mom, and why you choose to exclusively breastfeed? So I absolutely, positively, with all that is within me, I enjoy being a mom so much. Elijah is such a joy. He is so amazing. He's so amazing. I love him so much. Oh my gosh. Okay. Not trying to cry, but he's an amazing little boy, and I enjoy being his mother. He is an absolute gift that I didn't know that I needed, but I did. And he is a blessing to me, and I know everybody he encounters. And as far as breastfeeding, I do not breastfeed anymore. And honestly, it was hard for me, and I think that's why I didn't breastfeed, because Elijah's like, he's about to be 10 months. I think that's why I didn't continue breastfeeding, because of how hard it was for me in the beginning. If it wasn't that hard for me, I believe I would have continued, because there's so many benefits with breastfeeding for our children. But he's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Number 2, Do you allow anyone to hold and love on baby boy, or are you both as parents very discerning of who holds Elijah and etc.? I believe as parents, Malik and I are very, very discerning of who holds Elijah. Not only being, having the spirit of discernment and knowing who should hold him, but I believe with everything going on in the world, post delivery, I guess I hope this goes along with the question, but a lot of times people they go through postpartum depression, and I think I had like a little moment where it was so much that I didn't even know what to do. I was overwhelmed, and I didn't even want to, at one point, I didn't even want to be a parent. I was just like, oh Lord, it's too much. I was so overwhelmed in my mind. I was so overwhelmed, but I really thank God for keeping me through my pregnancy and keeping me after that so that I could be strong, a strong parent, a strong mom, because in order to take care of children, you have to be strong in your mind. And it's not to say that we don't go through things, but for the sake of our children, it is so important for us to be strong no matter what. And even if you gotta cry when you're not around them, in front of them, it is so. The last and final question is, has having a child changed the dynamics of our relationship? And I believe that it made it better, and I believe that we get to see each other grow down this new avenue of life together, seeing each other parent, seeing how Malik is with Elijah is amazing, and just how Elijah loves on Malik. The love he has for his dad is really amazing. The dynamic has just, it became better. The dynamic of our relationship became so much better. And lastly, thank you so much, Celeste. I just wanted to say thank you just for the opportunity to be able to be on this platform with you. I love you so, so much. Thank you again.
Okay, so I hope y'all can hear me and I hope y'all can see me. I just wanted to thank Zaire so much for answering these questions that were sent by me. They were genuine questions that I had of ladies in ministry that are married just like I am. And these are also questions that I typically get asked often. So I wanted someone else to answer the questions just to spice up my content a little bit. And to show y'all a new face, also to get insight from myself. I'm not using my hands because I just washed dishes and they ashy, and y'all not gonna clock me again because my hands stay ashy, but at least I wash my hands. But anyways, thank you, Zaire. I love you so, so much. I love your family. Y'all, we don't know each other personally, but we met via Facebook, and I feel like she's like one of my best friends. She's super sweet. I'm sure you can tell in the video, her character just radiates through the camera. So thank you again for answering those questions honestly. Thank you for showing your vulnerability. I don't know if y'all noticed, but some of the clips I kind of like edited just because I could tell she was getting emotional, and I'm not really sure if that's something she wanted to broadcast like for everybody. So I just kind of cut it out a little bit because I was feeling the same thing. So thank you again. I love you so much. And thank you to your husband. I'm sure he probably kind of heard a little bit of those questions, and I just appreciate him for being so cool and just laid back and chill. And shout out to my nephew Elijah. Y'all, he is 10 months and he is walking. Where they do that at? Like what? He already has 2 little teeth at the bottom, probably more at this point. But anywho, I hope y'all enjoyed, and more content to come. Y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, friend.